Welcome to Living in the Magic. I'm your host, Rebecca. This is a space for soul-led healing, awakening, conscious living, and remembering who you came here to be so you can move through life with intention, intuition, and the quiet power of your inner magic. The word today I was getting to share with you is truth. Truth is a tricky word because when we talk about truth, truth can mean so many different things to different people. You would think truth would be black or white, right? That truth doesn't have a gray zone because there is only what actually happened or what was actually said, the truth. But the truth of the matter is that within truth, there are gray zones. And truth is not so black or white because truth is based in each one of our own experiences. So when we're trying to understand and get the truth from two different people in front of us, we're trying to understand what actually happened, or we're trying to get to the bottom of the truth, what really happened between ourselves and someone else. If we're searching and seeking for the truth, it's going to be a very hard thing to find and to underline very clearly because everyone's experience of the truth is so different. One sentence can be heard completely differently by two different people because the truth of what they heard comes filtered and marred perhaps by their experiences in life, their judgments, the filter through which they heard that truth. I could say a neutral sentence like, pass the butter. And that could come out as, someone could hear it like, please pass the butter, no big deal. Or someone could hear it like, I already passed you the olive oil, the margarine, so now why are you asking me to pass the butter? And they could get offended by it. I know that's like a very silly example, right? But we all hear truths in so many different ways based on, again, our judgments, our experiences, the filters through which we hear and understand, internalize, and live life. Our truth is something that is so important to be connected to. Why is our truth so important to be connected to? Each one of us has a truth. Each one of us has who we are, where we come from, what we believe, who our soul is, the values that are important to us. And sometimes it can actually be really hard to connect with our truth because we have outside voices clouding it. We have what we think people want to know or believe about us clouding our truth. Perhaps we're embarrassed by our truth. Perhaps we feel sorry for ourselves because of our truth. Perhaps we feel uncomfortable with our truth because we're worried what other people will think about us, or we're worried about the repercussions of being deeply connected with our truth. Have you ever been in a position where you've led someone else to believe that something is true when it really wasn't, right? We don't give all the truth. We just give little pieces of it. We omit details. Some of us rewrite our truth. We lead someone to believe that we come from a different background or family or economical status than we actually do. We lead someone to believe that we have accomplished something that we haven't actually accomplished. We, pretend that we're more successful than we are, or we have things more together than we do. Being truthful really means, at the root of it, connected deeply with ourselves and being at peace with who we are, where we come from, what we believe in. That can be tricky. That can be tricky because it takes being comfortable enough with ourselves to sit down and truly be and connect with who we are and block out the outside world. Block out the doubts, the noise, the confusion, other people's opinions. Truth is meant to be different for Every person's truth is going to be different. But the most important thing about truth is that you're honest with yourself and that you learn how to get quiet enough and connected enough so that you can be in touch with your truth, so that you can own every part of who you are. Because when you can own every part of who you are, that's when you feel connected. That's when you feel empowered. That's when you feel secure and confident. The more connected you are to your truth, the more connected you are to yourself, and the better you will feel, the happier you will feel. Being connected to our truth truly means trusting ourselves, and truly means being able to stand in our own 2 feet with who we are, with what we believe. Sometimes words slip out of our mouth. And, have you ever said something and you're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just said that? It's not something you consciously wanted to say or chose to say. Maybe you were, but maybe you were caught off guard, but that's an excuse. It really was just something that slipped out of your mouth, right? Or a thought that you had and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't recognize that thought. It could be that that's your truth. And guess what? That's okay. Our truth comes straight from our soul, our essence, our subconscious. That's our truth. That's what we want to connect with. Notice that sometimes the things you let slip are really what you mean. You haven't filtered it. You haven't judged it. The things you want for yourself, maybe even, right? Like those inner deep desires, and you're just, don't even allow yourself to dare to dream of them, but they're there. That could be your truth. Pay attention to it. It's important. Connect with it. Go deep with it. Trust it. Sometimes the things we let slip, we're hard on ourselves about. We got to own them. We got to own them because that's really what we believe, and we have to trust it. And if that's who we really are, if that's our soul and our essence, then we have to love it too. To connect with our truth can sometimes mean learning to sit with ourselves and peel back all the layers of everything we've been taught and led to believe that does not necessarily resonate with us. That doesn't feel right. That doesn't make sense. And so many of us have that on so many levels and related to so many topics. We live in this world where we grow up a certain way. We're exposed to, people who believe and think in a certain way. That may be their truth. And sometimes we land in an environment, a family, a part of society that doesn't actually feel truthful to us. I was once leading a discussion, and we were sitting in Boca Raton, which is a beautiful, affluent town, and sitting amongst these women who, most of them are affluent, are, economically at least stable, if not much more than that. We ended up talking about how all of it is so superficial, and it's not what really makes any of us feel connected to ourselves. It's not actually necessarily adding that much to the world, just having money or having beautiful things, doing beautiful, going beautiful places. Not that there's anything wrong with any of that. Although some of the girls did think that there was, even if they were the ones, living that lifestyle. But it's not that there's anything wrong with it. Many found themselves living in a funny contradiction between knowing really what's important, between knowing what they really believe is important in life versus how they're actually living. What would that lead someone to feel on a daily basis? Disconnected, not happy, not fulfilled, because their truth was different than what they were putting out, than the life they were living. Now, that doesn't mean you throw away all the beauty, not at all. How are you acting? What are you showing the world? What do you tell people about yourself versus what you actually feel, what you actually believe? A lot of us live in many contradictions, and it's not our fault, and it's not meant to make us hard on ourselves. But many of us believe certain things or act a certain way, which we don't really align with, we don't really believe in. We believe certain things and we don't act on them. We find ourselves living in a contradiction. And when we're doing that, we're not living in our truth. We're saying one thing and doing another. We're believing one thing and saying something else, and then doing something different than that too. Taking the time to sit down and really connect with our truth and what's important and sticking with it is how we can feel aligned and connected with ourselves. What is truly important for us to give our children? Make sure you're giving that to them. Otherwise, you're not living in your truth. What is really important for you to do every day? Not what you think you have to do or what's expected of you. What do you really find is important for you to do every day? Make sure you do it, because otherwise you're not living in your truth. Who do you hang out with? Who do you give your energy to? Make sure that you feel that you're doing what is really important to you, because that is living in your truth. If you want to believe something, you find yourself struggling with it. So for example, you may say, the physical isn't important to me. I'm not materialistic at all, but you still find yourself buying lots of designer things. Could it be that the designer items are important to you? And guess what? That's okay, as long as that's your truth. Maybe there's a part of you that knows better on some level. I shouldn't say better, because there's nothing wrong with having designer things, but you kind of know that that's not actually what's making you happy. You still want to buy it, but guess what? That's okay. That's your truth. Just be aligned with it. Don't go and say that stuff doesn't make you happy, because if it does, own it. You got to own who you are. In order to own who you are, you got to sit with yourself and say, where am I lying to myself? Where am I trying to be someone I'm not actually? Or it's so important to me to be someone and I'm actually being that person. And stop being so hard on yourself, because you're doing what you need to do and you're doing a good job. That's living in your truth. And we're not going to live in our truth every moment of every day. We're just not, because it takes work. It takes dedication. It takes repetitiveness. It takes determination. It takes a deep, deep inner strength to be honest about who we are, where we come from, what we've gone through. There are many things that we're ashamed of, that we look at and say, that wasn't a good phase. But guess what? It was a part of your phase. That was your truth at the time. That's what you needed. That's who built you into who you are today. Living in your truth, just taking little baby steps closer and closer to it every day, is what will allow for your children and the people around you to be inspired to do the same. And it is what will lead you towards, consistency, clarity, and deep, clear connection with yourself, happiness, love, fulfillment, and light. I wish you inner truth. I wish you inner trust, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me here on Living in the Magic. May you carry what you've received into your day, into your heart, and into your life, walking forward with more clarity, connection, and trust in the magic that is within you.